Hey everyone, Eric Leamy here, yet you're watching another episodic video from my secondary YouTube channel vlog, in which I present to you my sentimental thoughts coming from my heart and soul, and my mental oddball shenanigans come from the mind and brain. This is EML77 TV, episode 882. What's going on, everybody? I hope everyone is having a wonderful, yes, day. A little rainy out, but a little warm, 75 degrees, not bad. September the 28th, 2020, 12:19 p.m. What's going on, everybody? And today will be the recap of last night's Clash of Champions. Very, very insane event, to say the least of what. I'll tell you one thing, it gets crazier and crazier and crazier, and it gets crazier. It started crazy. The main cards with the ladder match, and even I can't explain. Well, let's go on with it. The kickoff, Cesaro and Nakamura to defend the SmackDown Tag Team Championship against the Lucha House Party, and it will be the team of Kalisto and Lince Dorado will be the active 2 of 3 with Grand Metalik in their corner. Just a note here that Nikki Cross was injured, and she was not medically cleared, but there was still a SmackDown Women's Championship match. More on that. Also, Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax were not medically cleared to compete again for the Women's Tag Team Championship against the Riot Squad. Any little mind games? I don't know. We'll see what's going on there. So, anyways, the match was pretty good. Dorado and Kalisto started to get the groove going. Had to get their team groove going because they were at odds with each other, and thankfully, nothing else happened. But I'm sure this coming Friday night SmackDown, we'll find out what the heck is going on. But might I digress? However, Cesaro and Nakamura were just that even better, and they end up retaining the tag team titles. The ladder match for the Intercontinental title to kick off the Clash of Champions. Jeff Hardy, the defending champion, against former champs Sami Zayn and AJ Styles in a unification ladder match with Sami Zayn's title and Jeff Hardy's title. This match was so insane. Jeff Hardy took a few bumps, so did AJ Styles, so did Sami Zayn. But in the end, there was so many crazy moments. So many crazy moments. The craziest moment was towards the end of the matchup. Sami Zayn resorted to having handcuffs. Now, you know how the young kids nowadays with the earlobes, where they are like the earlobes, you can like poke a hole through the earlobes and have something like one of those little circle earrings, and makes it look like it has a big hole in ears. Well, Sami Zayn took one of those handcuffs and did it to Jeff Hardy's ear, and handcuffed the other ladder, and handcuffed Jeff Hardy's ear to the ladder. I'm like, what in the heck is Sami Zayn doing? I was like, how did Sami Zayn? Talk about getting extreme. All right. Jeff Hardy even started jumping off ladders. Even got Michael Cole yelling at him to stop jumping off the ladders. It was crazy. And then AJ Styles thought he was free to climb up the ladder and get those 2 titles. Instead, Sami Zayn decided to pose himself as an anchor and handcuffed himself with AJ Styles, preventing him from climbing the ladder. And as Sami Zayn was climbing up, trying to prevent AJ Styles from going, he had the key. He released himself from the handcuffs and handcuffed AJ Styles to the ladder, and end up grabbing both belts, which now makes him the undisputed Intercontinental Champion. He can stop whining now. He can stop running his mouth now, but no, he keeps on going, harping on AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, and fake. Oh my gosh! If I was in a match with him, I would knock him out, shave his head, shave his beard, and then make sure he doesn't leave without any clothes. I want to humiliate him. Sami Zayn, the great liberator. Give me a headache! Guy can't shut up for the... Sami Zayn's like a Run DMC song. He talks too much, and boy, he never shuts up. Anyways. R-Truth. God bless our silly goose R-Truth. I like R-Truth. He gets hilarious. he came on the kickoff show, dressed himself like a 49er, like one of those prospectors. You know, he says about the gold rush. They need some gold. He has a colander cooking bowl. You had to have a sifter. Oh my gosh. Scaredology. Poor JBL. R-Truth and JBL should have their own show. Like the JBL and Cole show, but R-Truth and JBL. I think JBL is pretty funny when he tries to be all serious with R-Truth. Like, are you serious? I'm like, R-Truth and JBL. It's like Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan all over again. Anyways, R-Truth is wandering around holding little Jimmy's hand. Every time I talk about R-Truth, he cracks me up. I love R-Truth. He liked my tweet, so I thanked him. Said thank you. Well, thank you, R-Truth. Listen, you are a national treasure. I said you stepped it up during this time of the pandemic. You kept us laughing and being entertained and all. So he's holding a little Jimmy, right? And him, I think it was Drake Wirtz, and I believe Chad Patton's, Chad Patton's still there, by the way. Chad Patton and Drake Wirtz, the senior referee, said, hey, what are you doing in the referee's room? Little Jimmy, you took us the wrong way, right? Right? And he said, we got to go, bye. So Drake Wirtz, the referee, said, hey, wait, Truth, you need anything? You need any help? He goes, and all of a sudden, Drew, he's our Truth and this guy talking to the referee Drake, and Drake Wirtz, and here comes Drew Gulak doing his little exercises, scoops up our Truth, 1, 2, 3. Gulak is the 24/7 champion. So Gulak's got another title. Right? Drew Gulak. What a funny dude. And I like Drew Gulak too, because he's very knowledgeable. If you see him on 205 Live, very knowledgeable in the color commentary, and it's totally awesome. The Raw Women's Championship, Asuka versus Elena Vega. I'll tell you what, Zelina Vega was bringing it to Asuka. Gotta respect Zelina Vega for that. You know, people think, Zelina Vega's not much of a wrestler. She is. She's a former TNA Impact Knockouts Tag Team Champion, mind you, with Sarita, a.k.a. Sarah Stock, who was part of the WWE as the women's coach over on NXT. She was very, very good. Trained with Amazing Red. She looked up to people like Melina. She mentioned Melina on the bump. I would not be surprised if Zelina Vega fails again in her bid to get the title from Asuka. I would not be surprised if Zelina Vega brings in Melina. I would not be surprised if she goes back to her managerial skills. I think she should also manage women in the women's division as well. But might I digress? It was a great matchup, but then after a few attempts at pinfalls, which is very, very good, Asuka caught her in the Asuka lock. She tapped out. Afterwards, Asuka says she's tough, she's a firecracker, but she's still not ready for Asuka. Asuka went to go shake a hand. Zelina Vega did a bow and then kicked Asuka. Asuka grabs the microphone, screams at her in Japanese, and I probably will not interpret what she says. It's not very, very pretty. Probably wouldn't, even though, it wouldn't be good. So, the United States title, Bobby Lashley versus Apollo Crews. Great matchup overall. Lashley retains the title. The Raw Tag Team Championship has happened. Street Profits went up against Angel Garza and Andrade. It was a heck of a matchup. And then when Angel Garza executed a Spanish fly, he landed on probably his quad awkwardly. He got hurt, leaving Andrade. But then to deal with the Street Profits end up making the pin and retain the titles. Hopefully Angel Garza is okay. I hope he's going to be all right. I know he landed on a leg injury that could take months away from your career, and who knows? If that's the case, if I were Andrade, I would look to some more tag team partners for help, or and I know Santos Escobar tweeted Andrade, so I'm on tweeting and Angel Garza too. So I wouldn't be surprised if Andrade, looks up Santos Escobar as an old friend. Who knows for sure? I don't know. Could be one thing I know about the Latin community is that they always believe in family, and you gotta respect that as always. So they always believe in family, even if you're not blood related. You're close to each other, which is really, really cool. I love that. Love that. So gotta respect that. So I'm hoping that Andrade could get look to the family for help. Who knows? Caleb Braxton had to interview Drew Gulak after Drew Gulak won the 24/7 title, winning the 24/7 championship. As he was talking, R-Truth in his 49er get-up, the prospector get-up, I should say, ended up pinning Drew Gulak for the 40th time. R-Truth is the 24/7 champion. I don't know if any superstar has held one title for 40 times. No one has ever done that, any title for that matter. R-Truth is the only WWE superstar to hold one title for 40 times, and that was the 24/7. He's a 40-time 24/7 champion. 40 times. 40. 40. No superstar. I think the only one going to come close to holding close to 40 times. You get Ric Flair's 16 World Championships, John Cena's 16 World titles in the WWE. Orton's got the 14. Triple H's got the 14. No, Orton's got 13. Triple H's got 14, I believe. But 40 times. I think Raven held the hardcore title like 20 some odd times on there. But R-Truth has them all beat. Only one title. 40 times. If you're talking about the all-time leader in world title victories in the WWE, you got to give it to R-Truth for the 24/7 title. 40 times, 40 stinking times, R-Truth has held the Intercontinental title. And trust me, on this one, it is not that pretty. Let me tell you. All right, so Bayley comes out, and as you know, Nikki Cross was not medically cleared to compete. So Bayley decided, well, she's going to issue. She said she's the most dominant SmackDown Women's Champion. Is the most dominant. I thought in my back of my mind, Melina talks about being the most dominant. This could be her cue to show up. You never know, right? But obviously, though, she says she's not signing with the WWE. But might I digress? So Bayley decided, well, I'll issue an open challenge. Here comes Asuka again for a second time. So the SmackDown Women's Championship on the line. But Asuka won by DQ because Bayley decided to hit Asuka with a steel chair. So Asuka does pick up the victory, but it was by DQ, and then DQ, no title change in hand. But I like Bayley's new shirt, Ding Dong Hello. I want to get that shirt. That shirt's pretty cool. But then Sasha Banks nails Bayley with a steel chair and goes after her. Even she's got the neck brace on. I think Hell in a Cell is a call-in, and maybe those two may be hooking it up in that evil environment. All right, and the last two matches were the big title matches, of course, the WWE Championship and the ambulance match. Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. Randy Orton tried to have his way in this matchup, but since the ambulance match, anything goes, right? And boy, did it ever! It got crazy. These last two matches, this one and the Universal title, I've started off crazy with the ladder match, which was crazy enough. The WWE Championship match for the ambulance match gets even crazier. During the matchup, Randy Orton went to go for a kick. All of a sudden, his big hand grabs Orton by the foot. Orton looks, and we saw this big ball guy wearing a mask. You think a member of Retribution? Here we go. We all thought it was a Retribution member. No, it was the Big Show. The Big Show all shaved up, no more beard. I'm like, what? What's Big Show doing here? He ends up punching Orton out. So McIntyre tries to take advantage of it, drags Orton towards the ambulance, and him and Orton were attacking, were beating the heck out of each other. And all of a sudden, there was one point where Drew McIntyre Claymore kicked the ambulance driver's door right off. I'm like, ah! And there was a steel chair inside the ambulance that Orton used on. It was crazy. So, anyway, they decided, well, we'll beat each other up, They decided to take things to the back, and then you get the catering area. And guess who was at the catering area? Christian! He beats the heck out of Randy Orton. I'm like, where did Christian come from? It was crazy. And I'm like, oh my gosh, right? It's like the ghosts of Christian's past and present. And so it's like, so I'm like, holy cow, right? And so Randy Orton decides to escape. Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton fought back near the ambulance, right? They fought back near the ambulance, and they're beating the heck out of each other. Randy Orton was on top of the ambulance trying to escape Drew McIntyre. And guess who's waiting for him? Shawn Michaels. Sweet chin music knocking Orton out. And then that gave Drew McIntyre the opportunity. Grabs Orton, puts him in the ambulance. Before he went to close the door, he closed the door, but he opened it back up to give him a punt kick to the head. McIntyre made him pay a little dose of his own medicine, ends up throwing him in there, closes the doors. Your winner and still WWE World Champion, Drew McIntyre. And guess what? And then all of a sudden, they pan over to the front. Guess who was driving the ambulance? Ric Flair. I'm like, oh my gosh. And everybody was shocked about Edge not being there. I'm sure Edge is probably at home smiling at this. He probably was happy that Drew McIntyre beat the snot out of Randy Orton. It was a great matchup. Having the surprise appearances of Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, Christian, and Big Show, that was crazy enough. I was like, how are you going to top that? Well, you've got the Universal Championship match. Cousin versus cousin, Roman Reigns defending the title against Jey Uso. These two went at it, but Roman Reigns ended up dominating the match towards the end. He beat the living you-know-what out of Jey Uso. Beat him up. He's talking trash, beating him up. He's saying, I can stop this now, right? And then finally, his twin brother, Jimmy, comes out with a towel in his hands. And then Roman Reigns says, do it. Throw it in. And Jey Uso's like, no, Uso, no, you know. He wanted to fight. Jey Uso wanted to fight. I gotta give, I love the Usos. They got heart and they got soul and they're totally awesome, awesome people. I know their father Rikishi follows me on Twitter, which I'm very honored about that. He was a really cool dude. And, and all of a sudden Jimmy Uso was frustrated because he wants to pull his brother from. He didn't want to do this. He said he wants his brother to Roman Reigns is like, tell me I'm the tribal chief. I'm the tribal chief. He's like, I'm not going to do it, And all of a sudden, Roman Reigns kept on wailing at him, to the point where Jimmy Uso says, nah, that's enough. Throws in the towel, Roman Reigns wins the match, still the Universal Champion. And then all of a sudden, as Jimmy Uso checked on his brother, he says, you're the tribal chief, you want that? And Roman Reigns, I think Paul Heyman's changed the man. I mean, a lot of people want Roman Reigns. This is the Roman Reigns people wanted, And all the internet nerds' fault, in my opinion. But I'm going to tell you one thing. It sacrificed his alliance with his family, his bloodline, just to become a Universal Champion. I mean, it's really sad. You had to see that. And we'll see what happens on Friday Night SmackDown, man. It was crazy to say the least. But so anyways, so that's it. That's the recap for tonight, for last night's Clash of Champions. Tonight on Raw, we have a draft coming up, and we'll have a little draft special. The draft I think will start on October the 9th, and then on the following Monday for Raw and SmackDown. I don't think NXT is going to be involved because I think with the pandemic this year, it's going to be a little difficult to add in it. And if it was regular, NXT would be involved. But you never know for sure. Free NXT should be considered the free agent pool. That's what I'm personally thinking. NXT should be considered the free agent pool. That's my personal opinion on that matter. That way, you never know who you want to draft up and everything else. Because of the pandemic, I think they're going to stick with Raw and SmackDown. And I think that's that's why NXT is not going to be involved in this. But you never know for sure. Like I said, NXT should be the free agent pool. We'll find out for sure what's going to happen October the 9th and the following day, October the 12th. So that will be a huge deal, and I will do a recap on who's getting drafted and where. So that's something to a lot of changes are going to be happening. So the WWE draft will happen, and we'll make things interesting for Hell in a Cell coming up. But also you got NXT TakeOver this coming Sunday as well. I will make my picks and predictions there for NXT TakeOver 30. NXT TakeOver, not 30. NXT TakeOver 31. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Another match has been added to that card. Speaking of NXT TakeOver, it will be Kushida going one-on-one with Velveteen Dream. So the matches are like this so far. All the first three are title matches. The NXT Championship, Finn Balor defends against Kyle O'Reilly of the Undisputed Era. The North American title on the line, Damian Priest one-on-one with Johnny Gargano. As the women's title being on the line, Io Shirai defends her title against Candice LeRae. That rivalry is continued. And Kushida, like I said, he's going one-on-one with Velveteen Dream. So that match is happening. And you got the NXT UK Heritage Cup tournament that starts next week. It starts this Thursday, excuse me. Noam Dar going one-on-one to Alexander Wolf with Pete Dunne as a special guest referee in that matchup. There'll be a triple threat wild card qualifier. The winner of that faces Tread 7 in the match. So that's in the Heritage Cup tournament, and it'll be under British round rules. So that's going to be very interesting to say the least. So that's all the time we have here. Episode 882 is complete. Later on tonight or tomorrow, I am going to make the Raw Thunderdome recap. And not only that, on episode 884 of the show, I will be celebrating, commemorating the 40th anniversary of my all-time favorite game show. One game show I grew up on when I was a kid. It was called Bullseye, and I will do that episode. In fact, because I'm going to do a super effort on the show, effort on that episode, I may end up doing some today, but I'm not going to upload the entire video until I get everything ready to go. Because I'm going to talk about the show a little bit, my 5 favorite moments on Bullseye, and then I'm going to go into a 20-round bonus island flash game, and then after that, after I chat about it, I'm going to give you a flashback video from my TPL show, where I danced to the theme song of Bullseye. Then I want to play a 20 game bonus round against the Lightning, and then I will do a new pictorial tribute to commemorate the 40th anniversary of Bullseye, the game of strategy, look, knowledge, and daring. Can't wait for you guys to check it out. It's going to be totally cool, and you'll see the thumbnail. So I'm just totally excited about that. All right. That is all the time we have on the show, episode 882. On the next episode, I will give you the Raw Thunderdome recap, fallout from Clash of Champions. We'll see what happens, all right? I'll see you guys later. You guys have a wonderful day. God bless, and do well.